It was May 6, 2023, at Westminster Abbey. The world was watching the historic coronation of King Charles III, the first in 70 years, when something strange happened. A cloaked figure, holding what looked like a staff, moved right across a main doorway and then just vanished. Millions saw it, but no one could quite explain it. Was this just a church official accidentally caught on camera at the worst possible time? Or did the world get a front row seat to a royal haunting during the most sacred moment of the ceremony? Part 1, a ceremony 1,000 years in the making. The air in London that May morning was electric, thick with a sense of history unfolding. For the first time in 70 years, the ancient rites of a British coronation were about to be performed. This wasn't just a political ceremony, it was a deeply spiritual event, with roots going back to King Edgar's crowning in 973, and a tradition that was truly cemented at Westminster Abbey with William the Conqueror in 1066. Westminster Abbey, the hallowed ground where 40 monarchs have been crowned, stood ready. It's a building that has seen more of Britain's story than any other, its very stones saturated with the history of kings and queens. Inside, the atmosphere was a wild blend of medieval ritual and 21st century reality. The legendary Stone of Scone, also known as the Stone of Destiny, sat beneath the ancient coronation chair, brought all the way from Scotland to play its sacred role. The crown jewels, loaded with centuries of power, waited under armed guard. And the anointing screen was ready to shield the king from view during the holiest and most secret part of the service, his consecration with holy oil, a private moment between the new monarch and God. Every single detail was steeped in 1,000 years of tradition, all designed to elevate a man into a monarch. More than 20 million people in the UK alone tuned in, their eyes glued to the spectacle. Dignitaries from across the globe filled the pews, their modern suits and dresses a stark contrast to the ermine robes and arcane symbols all around them. It was a moment of supreme solemnity, a fusion of church and state, past and present. The weight of the crown, the burden of the orb and scepter, the ancient promises spoken, it all served one purpose: to formally begin the reign of King Charles III. But as the world watched him prepare to take his oath, it seems he may have inherited something else entirely. A fleeting shadow, a dark silhouette against the abbey door, that would soon spark a global firestorm of speculation and turn a moment of royal pageantry into a chilling, modern ghost story. Part 2, the sighting that broke the internet just as military personnel were marching into the abbey. It happened. For a mere 4 seconds, a figure glided past an open doorway behind the choir. Dressed in a long, dark, hooded robe and carrying a long staff, it crossed the threshold and disappeared. The movement was so swift, it was almost spectral. To a casual observer, it could have been nothing. But this wasn't just any event. This was a coronation, broadcast in high def to the entire planet, where every single frame was being scrutinized. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. The question, first asked as a joke, began to spread across social media like wildfire: anyone else just spot the Grim Reaper at Westminster Abbey? The comparison was immediate. The dark, flowing robe, the hidden face, and the long staff, easily mistaken for a scythe, all fit the iconic image of death itself. And of course, the internet did what it does best. Memes were born in an instant. The Reaper was photoshopped into family photos and movie posters. Jokes flew fast and furious, with many quipping it was Princess Diana's spirit arriving to get the last word. Others joked it was Meghan Markle in a very clever disguise. The moment became a quirky, bizarre highlight of the entire day. But underneath all the humor, a much darker conversation started to emerge. For many, this was no laughing matter. Seeing a figure that looked so much like the Grim Reaper, a universal omen of death, at the very start of a new king's reign felt deeply unsettling. What could it mean? Was it a warning? A curse? In a ceremony all about new beginnings, the unscripted appearance of an icon of endings felt profoundly ominous. The figure wasn't just a strange sight, for a whole lot of people watching, it felt like a premonition. A crowned specter for a new king. Part 3, deconstructing the specter, theories and explanations. The viral frenzy demanded an answer. Who, or what, had just crashed the most important royal event of the century? The theories basically fell into two camps, the rational and the supernatural. First up, the logical explanation. As the online speculation hit a fever pitch, Westminster Abbey itself felt the need to step in and clear things up. They confirmed that the figure was not, in fact, the Grim Reaper, but a verger. A verger is a lay member of the Abbey's community, a non-clerical official who helps manage religious services. Their duties are pretty extensive, from guiding processions to preparing the church. The traditional uniform for a verger often includes a long black robe, and they frequently carry a rod, or verge, as a symbol of their office, the very object that the internet mistook for a scythe. For anyone familiar with how the Church of England works, seeing a verger in their traditional gear would be completely normal. Mystery solved. Or was it? For paranormal researchers and believers, the official explanation was just a little too neat. They pointed to the figure's fluid, almost gliding motion, and the sheer symbolism of the moment. They argued that spirits often manifest in familiar forms, cloaking themselves as people who are expected to be there. Could a spectral entity have simply taken on the guise of a verger to move through the abbey unnoticed? This pivot opened the door to a bunch of chilling supernatural theories. The most popular one is still the Grim Reaper. In Western culture, the Reaper is a powerful archetype for the inevitability of death. Seeing such a figure at a coronation, the ultimate symbol of life and succession, struck many as a terrifying omen for the new reign. But other, more specific theories popped up, rooted in the haunted history of the abbey itself. Westminster Abbey isn't just a church, it's practically a city of the dead, with over 3,000 people buried within its grounds, including 17 monarchs. According to folklore, it's one of the most haunted places in London. Paranormal buffs quickly pointed to the abbey's most famous spectral resident, the ghost of a monk known as Father Benedictus. Legend says he was murdered in the abbey and is often described as a tall cowled figure, a description that perfectly matches the specter on camera. He has reportedly been seen for centuries, often appearing in the cloisters in the early evening. One story from 1900 tells of two women who saw him before he vanished into a solid wall, and another from 1932 claims he calmly showed two panicked American tourists the way out after they were accidentally locked in. Some now believe the coronation figure was Father Benedictus, emerging to watch another chapter in the abbey's long history. An even darker theory suggests the ghost wasn't a monk, but a regicide. John Bradshaw was the judge who condemned King Charles I to death. After the monarchy was restored, King Charles II had Bradshaw's body exhumed, posthumously hanged, and his head displayed on a spike at Westminster Hall. The story goes that Bradshaw's enraged spirit now haunts the abbey, appearing on the anniversary of King Charles I's execution. Could the ghost of the man who ended one King Charles's reign have appeared to witness the beginning of another? It definitely sends a shiver down the spine. The figure in the doorway may have been a simple verger, but for millions, it remains a haunting question mark hanging over a new royal era. Part 4, A Kingdom of Ghosts, the royal family's haunted legacy. The Specter at the Coronation, whether real or imagined, is just the latest chapter in a long, chilling history of supernatural encounters that have followed the British monarchy for centuries. To be a monarch in the UK is to inherit not just palaces and jewels, but a legacy of ghosts. The royal family lives surrounded by the spirits of their ancestors, in castles where the past is never really past. Windsor Castle, a favorite home of the late Queen Elizabeth II, is reputedly one of the most haunted royal residences, with tales of over 25 different apparitions. King Henry VIII is said to be one of its most active spirits. Known for his gout, his ghost is often heard moaning in agony and dragging its leg through the castle hallways. His famous daughter, Queen Elizabeth I, is also said to be a frequent visitor. Her spirit is most often seen in the royal library, where the sound of her heels clicking on the floorboards supposedly announces her arrival. Multiple royals have reportedly seen her, and there are even claims that Queen Elizabeth II and her sister Princess Margaret witnessed the apparition. But perhaps most remarkably, paranormal historian Richard Felix alleges that King Charles himself has seen the ghost of Queen Elizabeth I in that very library. Felix claims that both Charles and his grandfather, King George VI, saw her, with George VI reportedly seeing her ghost for 8 consecutive nights at the start of World War II. And the hauntings aren't just at Windsor. Glamis Castle, the childhood home of King Charles's grandmother, the Queen Mother, is steeped in terrifying legends. Its most infamous ghost is Earl Beardy, a cruel 15th-century nobleman who drunkenly declared he'd play cards with the devil. According to the legend, a mysterious stranger in a dark coat appeared to take him up on the offer. Screams were heard, the stranger vanished, and Earl Beardy is now said to be trapped, gambling for his soul for all eternity in a secret, bricked-up room. The Tower of London, a place of imprisonment and execution, is predictably haunted. The most famous of its ghosts is Anne Boleyn, Henry VIII's second wife, beheaded in 1536. Her restless, headless spirit is often seen wandering near the site of her execution. The tragic spirits of the princes in the tower, The young Edward V and his brother Richard are also said to remain. The two boys were locked away by their uncle, Richard III, and never seen again. Apparitions of two small children in white nightgowns have been reported for centuries. Even the king's more private homes aren't immune. At Sandringham, Charles was reportedly terrified when he and a footman felt they were being followed around the library by some unseen presence. This long history of royal hauntings provides a pretty chilling context for the coronation sighting. It suggests that in the world of the British monarchy, the veil between the living and the dead might just be exceptionally thin. Part 5, The Mystic King, a belief in the unseen. While a modern monarch is expected to be a figure of stability, there's a good deal of evidence that the royal family, and King Charles in particular, have a deep interest in the mystical and the paranormal. This isn't a new thing, it's a thread that runs through generations. Queen Victoria, after the death of her beloved Prince Albert, is said to have held seances to try and contact him. The Queen Mother apparently came from a family with reputed psychic abilities and claimed to have seen ghosts at her childhood home. Even Prince Philip's uncle, Lord Mountbatten, was fascinated by UFOs and reincarnation. This fascination seems to have been passed down to Charles. One paranormal investigator recounted a meeting where the then Prince of Wales showed a surprising knowledge of the paranormal. And it's not just the older generations. The king's youngest son, Prince Harry, has been very open about this. In multiple interviews, Harry has talked about feeling the presence of his late mother, Princess Diana. He once said, "I've never felt her presence more than I have over the last year, and that it's as if she has done her bit with my brother and now she's very much helping me." This open admission from a senior royal shows that a belief in a world beyond our own isn't exactly taboo within the family. This inherent belief in the spiritual, this history of personal encounters, and this fascination with the unknown all add to the narrative around the coronation specter. For a family that might already accept the possibility of ghosts in their homes, the idea of a spirit appearing at a sacred ceremony might not be so far-fetched. The king, a man of deep tradition and faith, may already believe he shares his kingdom with the ghosts of those who ruled it before him. Conclusion: The lingering shadow. On May 6, 2023, the world watched a king get crowned. But in a fleeting, 4-second clip, millions saw something more, a mystery. A dark figure that walked out of the shadows of history and into the glare of the 21st century. So, was it simply a verger, a church official going about his duties, whose ancient robes were misinterpreted by a global audience? That's the logical, official, and most probable answer. A simple case of mistaken identity, blown up into a supernatural theory by the internet. Or was it something else? A manifestation of an old abbey ghost like Father Benedictus, drawn out by the gravity of the sacred ceremony? A grim omen for the new reign? Or just a reminder from the thousands of souls buried in that holy ground that a new monarch never truly rules alone? We'll probably never know for sure. The identity of the figure is officially solved, but the power of what people saw, or what they believed they saw, lingers. The story of the crown specter endures because it touches on our fascination with the monarchy itself, that collision of ancient tradition and modern life, of solemn duty and the tantalizing possibility of a hidden, supernatural world. CTA: What do you think was captured on camera at the coronation? A simple verger, or something far more mysterious? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And if you think the royal family shares their palaces with the paranormal, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more dives into the world's greatest historical mysteries.